Welcome to another episode of IELTS Face-Off. Every IELTS Face-Off episode we have clues. Okay, I'm quite sure this is going to be about babies. Look at this. Okay, so what about, we have another clue here. It's also on babies. Okay, so I think our guest today is probably somebody who is going to be a young person. A toddler maybe, somebody who's 8, 9 years old. Or actually 100 từ đầu đời của bé. Actually, the first 100 words and plants. Actually, it might not be about babies. It might be about somebody who is raising babies, so maybe a mom and her baby together. I wonder which mom or which baby can actually be on our show and be able to speak English. Oh, I think I have an idea. But let's see if that idea is correct. But let me think. So we have people famous on social media, we have people famous on television. I don't really like, I'm not really much of a babies kind of person, but okay, guys. This is really about taking care of babies, but we're not really just talking about this, guys. We're looking there. Let's look there. There. There's where we should look.
My name is Minh Trang. I'm now a full-time mother with 3 girls. Sometimes this job puts much pressure on me, but this is the most creative and interesting job that I can have.
Ooh, I know this person. I cannot wait to meet her again. Okay, let's go. It's time to see her.
Trung thu nhiều quà hay, Tiki giao hàng ngay.
Anh cứ bỏ tạm ra để cho nó giã đông ấy, xong rồi về em sẽ xào. Bơ vẫn ổn đúng không? Em để lại một hộp sữa ở trong ngăn tủ lạnh. Thank you anh. Bye bye. Hi Phoebe.
Hello, how are you?
Are we shooting?
Well, yes, we are.
How are you?
I'm good. How's it going?
I'm great. It's been a while.
Bo's not coming today, right?
No, just Daisy and Bang Me. I cannot afford 3 of them at the same time.
Okay, so let's get started so that you can come home to Bo as well. Now that we have, our Minh Trang here in the studio, let's just continue on to the talk. We're back here at the IELTS Face-Off studio, and today we are going to talk about putting down your roots with a very popular mom on social media as well as in life. So welcome.
Thank you, Phoebe. It's so great to be here. And
yeah, you had your first child in the U.S. And do you think that's a better experience compared to having a child in Vietnam?
Daisy, I gave birth to her when I was in the U.S. and then Bang Me and Bo in Vietnam. So from my own experience, there are quite a lot of differences between giving birth to a baby in the U.S. And in Vietnam. The first difference is when we give birth in the U.S., there are a lot of parenting classes, even when you are just pregnant. You go to those classes and learn a lot of information and advice to take best care of the baby in the tummy and after the baby is born. In Vietnam, there are more and more classes like that, but I don't think those classes has the popularity. And then parents in the US, they try to get as much information about pregnancy and newborn care as possible through books, through reliable and scientific sources. Versus in Vietnam, I think there are still a lot of parents will take information and advice from neighbors and parents and friends. I don't say those experience and information are not correct, but it might just be correct with certain person. It cannot apply for everyone. Another point is that pregnant women and women and newborn baby, I think somehow the pressure from the family and the society, either if the baby can gain proper weight or you have to avoid this and that during pregnancy and taking care of the newborn baby, especially when new parents stay with their parents, then there's going to be somehow pressure for the women. Versus in the US, they only have like nuclear family, only the parents taking care of the newborn baby, and they have to do it themselves. Somehow they have the freedom to raise their kids as they wish, and they don't have the pressure to listen to their in-laws in terms of, how to take care of their baby. There are sometimes the information and the advice from the neighbors and other family members are not correct and of no scientific evidence. So I think the best way for pregnant women and for parents is to seek out for reliable and scientific information.
I remember when I knew you 4 years ago, you were this really busy mom, right? You're on a shoot, you go to do your report, you go back home, you bring Daisy to work even and let Daisy play with everyone. And then you go to like this dinner meeting and Daisy's sitting there and you have her just wear a bib and she can just scoop herself some food, right? So you're developing independence for the kids at a really young age with your busy schedule. What are you trying to develop or instill in them now that you have 3 kids?
Well, at first, when I tried to help them to be independent and can do things themselves, is because I don't have enough time to feed them and to take care of them in terms of like some hygiene stuff, like going to the toilet and wearing their clothes. But it turned out that if we have independent kids, they are not only independent and capable of doing things themselves, they can capable of thinking for themselves and have a critical thinking approach to issues that pop up later in their life.
Today's episode is really about putting down roots. I see sometimes the roots for some families, it's about the Vietnamese culture. Or sometimes as a Vietnamese kid, to be the most intelligent kid in school and get into the best universities and get the best jobs. What is your definition of putting down roots?
I think parenting down to the root is to raise happy kids. Happy kids, happy parents. They will grow up independent, believe in themselves, take in mind that always do good deed and be nice to other people. I think that's the best I can give to my children when they grow up. Other stuff, they have to figure out themselves.
Absolutely. Do you focus on teaching Daisy and bánh mì and Bơ English since young?
Although me and my husband can speak English and use the language in our work, but we rarely speak English at home. One of the reasons is that it's taking more time, and even it takes time for them to digest and to understand what we're talking about. I think for the kids, to get them familiar with a foreign language since like newborn, or even after 6 months or 1 year, the earlier the better, because the ability to learn a new language will gradually go down if you grow up. So I get Daisy to a English center when she was 3.5, and at home we often set aside 30 minutes to 1 hour a day for them to listen to English music and to watch one feature movie or one feature cartoon movie every week. And they have to work very hard and so long to that day in order to watch that movie.
I think that's a fantastic way to instill in the young generation a sense of discipline and also a sense of basically working for their enjoyment or working for that reward, and also still making those rewards very educational.
Yes.
Trang, I think it's time for us to do something a little bit fun. It's part of the IELTS Face-Off challenge. But before we go there, can you share with me 2 things? The first thing is basically your favorite book. What's your favorite book right now?
It's a book about wildlife conservation. It was written by a Vietnamese wildlife conservationist, and her name is also Trang. And she wrote that book to tell the story of her recent 5 years working as a wildlife conservationist around the world, especially in Southeast Asia countries, and urge everyone to do good to the environment and the earth. The name of the book is Back to the Wild. That is a really good book. I think you should get one.
It's fantastic. And because this is an English show, a lot of our audience are always looking for new idioms or new vocabulary to add on to their collection. Do you have anything to add on to our audience collection?
I think I will choose learn as you go. Parenting for me is not something that you can learn from a school or from a textbook. It's something that you learn as you go. You learn from your own experience. You learn as you hands-on and do it. And the more you do it, the more time you spend with your kids, the more time you spend as parents, you will explore something very special, not only from the kids, but also from within yourself.
Fantastic. All right, so I think this is the perfect time for us to move on to the IELTS Face-Off Challenge.
Thank you, Phoebe.
Thank you, Chi Trang. All right, guys, next up is the IELTS Face-Off Challenge with our, can I call you Hot Mom? Or should I just call you Minh Trang?
Just Mom.
Okay, Mom, Minh Trang, the mom. All right, we'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. More content to come. All right, this is our IELTS Face-Off Challenge, and today we're going to teamwork. And of course, this is going to be an interesting one. I'm going to read out the rule a little bit. And the rule is that you're going to put your hands into the box. You're going to describe the item, or you feel, you can't see it. I'm going to guess it, and we're going to see if I'm correct, or if we're correct.
Right.
Shall we do that?
Yeah, this is a very familiar game in my family. I often do this to develop the vocabulary, either Vietnamese or English, with Daisy and Bánh Mì.
Oh,
And they love
nice.
this a lot.
Fantastic.
Yeah,
All right.
so
I'm ready.
should I try?
Yes, I will be Bánh Trang today.
Oh wait, what is this? This is not the one that I use with my kids, but I think other moms use that. You will pour milk in there and to feed the baby.
Okay, so it's a milk bottle, is
I
it?
think so.
Let's see.
Yay! Okay, next. This is something that girls will love to play with. It has 2 legs, 2 hands,
Doll.
a head. Yes.
That's quite easy.
Yeah.
Yay, that's a great
So
purple doll.
cute. Okay, this is a traditional toy of Russia.
Matryoshka.
Matryoshka.
Okay.
Yeah, that is.
Oh, none inside.
Not inside. Alright, next.
I hear
Okay.
something.
It's made of plastic and it's in the shape of a vegetable that rabbit loves.
It's a plastic carrot.
Yes, that is.
I've never seen such a toy before.
Hey, this is like a game to test my, parenting level, kind of. All right, next. This is also made of plastic and it has a shape of a animal that have a very hard shell. And this is also a very typical animal to Hoan Kim Lake.
Oh, it's a turtle.
That
Yay!
is. All right, next. So you use this to build different structures. This is a toy.
Lego.
First. No, the type of Lego. The pieces,
Lego piece?
not piece.
Bricks.
Yes, that is.
Yay.
Or you can call Lego blocks. All right. This is also a toy. It has 4 wheels.
Cars.
Yes.
That's
Yay.
easy. Yay.
Next.
I think we're going to get 100%.
Well, this is a very popular and also my kids' favorite toy in the kitchen pretend play. It's made of plastic and you use it to fry.
It's a plastic frying pan.
Yeah, that is.
Oh, yay.
This is a hair piece that you use to hold small amount of hair for the kids.
It's a hair clip.
Yes, that is.
Fantastic.
Yay!
Yay.
Wow.
We got 100%.
We got like, not really. I think we have
We have a
still
few more.
2 more. Yeah, but that's a lot already.
I think if Daisy's going to be here, she might also do super
Yes,
well.
yeah.
Right, thanks so much for coming by. It's been so much fun, and I think I've learned a lot from your conversations about parenting.
Thank you for having me. I think I really enjoyed the time here and also the time with you because we haven't talked to each other in so long time.
And it's good teamwork, so high five!
Yay! Thank you.
Next, on IELTS on the go, following Tùng Đặng to Lạng Sơn province, we'll check out the stories of the 2 young students from Hữu Lũng High School. And this boy or this girl will be confident to confront our IELTS expert in the speaking test room. Wait and see. But first, let's check out the main studio with our IELTS expert, Richard Cherry. The next part of the show comes right now.
hòa hay, Tiki giao hàng ngay.
Audience and viewers, this is the IELTS expert section. As always, we have an expert from the British Council who will give us his wisdom and his advice. So welcome again, Richard.
Hi, Phoebe. Thanks.
Today's topic is on, putting down roots and raising kids. Do you have any advice or any suggestions or anything to say about this topic today?
Actually, I could use some advice and suggestions. I've got a 15-month-old baby, and it's my first, and I'm, making it up as I go along, but having a great time as well.
We're going to go to Lạng Sơn. We're going to meet some of the kids, and let's see how they perform on the IELTS on the go. All right, guys, IELTS on the go. Take it away.
Welcome to Hữu Lũng High School, and in case you guys are not familiar, Hữu Lũng, Lạng Sơn is a town in Lạng Sơn province, obviously, and it's about a 2-hour drive away from Hanoi. And here I am with two very lovely guests, so let's get to know them a little bit.
Well, my name is Khán and he's my friend.
Yes, I'm Dung. And
Okay.
We are classmates.
And you guys are in grade 10, 11? 11. Okay, very well. You guys live pretty far away from Hanoi,
Yes.
so I'm assuming that access to English materials and teachers is pretty limited. Am I wrong in saying this?
Actually, we mostly get our materials from the internet, so
Okay.
we're not really limited from the English.
Okay, so your pronunciation is really good. Do you take like an online pronunciation course?
I used to take an online course on the internet with an American teacher.
Okay. There are many of our viewers who are
Yes.
interested in, improving their pronunciation as well. So most of them say that the difficulty is not having someone to tutor them, but you get a native speaker to tutor you online. Is this like really expensive or is it pretty reasonable?
It was really expensive, you have to pay a very high cost to study,
Okay.
and so you will gain something back to you.
But do you think it's worth it?
Yes, of course it's worth it.
Okay. And pronunciation is key to making a good first impression. So
Okay.
I think it's definitely something that is worth investing in.
Yes,
Right?
okay.
You guys are in 11th grade, so soon you will face the choice of, either pursuing higher education in Vietnam or studying abroad. What are your plans?
I'm trying my best to study English to get a scholarship.
What country are you shooting for?
I will study abroad in Great Britain.
And Great Britain. Okay, very well. So obviously you guys are going to have to take the IELTS. Well, very likely. So have you guys begun your preparation for the test?
I haven't prepared anything. I just read the books. I learning myself.
I think I just study for IELTS by myself. Maybe I study with some friends that they have the same idea with me.
Okay, so viewers, these guys have really good English and they're going to, prepare for the IELTS independently, and I think there's nothing wrong with that. IELTS has 4 skills, and what skill do you think is going to be the hardest to study by yourself?
Speaking skill.
Obviously, very difficult to study by yourself, right? I mean, you can either talk to a mirror, you can talk by yourself, but that's kind of depressing. Dung said that the biggest hurdle is going to be the speaking test. Do you think the same?
I think the hardest part may be reading. I don't have that concentration, so it's really hard to focus on one paper with a lot of words, and that's depressing.
I'm sure all of our viewers here can relate. The reading test for some people, it can be a little bit daunting,
Yeah.
but believe me, I do the reading test for fun, and it gets more interesting the more you do it.
Oh yes.
A lot of people do not realize this, but when you do the reading test, you get loads of vocabulary that you can use in the writing test and the speaking test as well.
Yes.
And loads of ideas. I mean, it makes you a better informed person, right?
Yeah.
Okay, anyway, I've traveled all this way and I think it would be rude to come empty-handed. So I've come with a present, and
Okay.
that is a chance for one of you guys to take a IELTS speaking simulation test. We'll have an IELTS expert on set, and you guys are going to get real-time feedback. So that's pretty cool, right? Okay, but only one of you guys can go in the simulation test room.
Okay.
Okay? And I'm not gonna butt in here. I'm going to let you guys decide among yourselves.
Okay.
I really like the girl. I think she has excellent English, but I don't know. Maybe the guy wants some exposure, so maybe the girl will let him go. I'm not sure. Let me go back and check with that. Okay. So have you guys decided?
Yes.
Yes.
And Khánh will do the test.
Oh, Khánh will do the test.
Yes.
Try your best.
Okay. Thank you.
Let's head into the examination room, and I wish you the best of luck.
Thank you.
Okay. Phoebe, she's coming in.
So let's see how Vân Khánh performs, shall we?
Okay, great.
And are you ready to face off?
I'm ready. Let's go.
Well, we have this girl, Vân Khánh, decided to challenge herself with a real-time speaking test. How well she can manage the test, we will find out soon. And for sure, every episode will be loaded with full of great vocab, greatly used for tips from our IELTS expert. We'll bring you the tips to master different formats of listening. And in our new segment this season, Book of the Week, let's check out the book Common Mistakes at IELTS Advanced. Many cool things await, yes, and all will be brought to you right now.
Hello, my name is Richard. Can you tell me your name, please?
My name is Khánh.
Let's move into part 1. What would you like to change in your daily routine?
Well, I want to do more outdoor activities. I often stay indoors because I am too lazy, and I would like this one aspect to be changed from my daily routine.
Now, we'll move on to part 2. You'll have a minute to think about what you're going to say and you can make some notes. I'd like you to describe a time you spent with a friend in your childhood. Okay, can you start speaking now, please?
I'm going to tell you about a time I spent with my friend when I was small. When I was a child, I used to spend my summer vacation in my grandmother's house. There I met a girl living next door. Her name was Linh and she was 1 year older than I am. Since we both shared the interest of reading, we became friends. I visited her house every day after that. Not only did we read books together, but we also played the toys and we did everything together. And she even taught me to play the chess, and that was amazing to have such a friend. And that time was the best time ever in my life, because I didn't have a lot of friends during my stay with my grandmother. Actually, Linh was the first one. She taught me everything. She made my vacation unforgettable. However, I haven't met Linh after that because she moved to another city. When she told me, I thought she was kidding, and I was under that impression for a few days. When I found out it was the truth, I was really down in the dumps, actually, and we kept contact via our Facebook, and I really miss her, and I really want to see her again. I can never forget that vacation. I can never forget that time I spent with her.
Let's move on to part 3. Nowadays, many parents try to make their children happy by buying them a lot of toys. How do you feel about this?
I think it is not a very good idea to buy children too many toys. According to research, a child with too many toys will naturally take less care of them, and he will not learn to value them if there is always a replacement ready at hand. In contrast, a child with fewer toys will spend more of his time reading books and exploring the world. This results in his creativity and his social skills.
Thank you very much. That's the end of the speaking test.
Thank you. Hey.
Oh, there's our girl. How was it?
I think it was rather good.
Okay, that's good to hear. Any difficult questions that you faced in the speaking test?
Not really. I consider them as difficult. They are the same difficult.
Okay, the difficulty level is pretty uniform.
Yes.
Anyway, let's see what the examiner has to say about Khánh performance.
So Richard, what do you think of Vân Khánh performance?
Well, I have to say it's pretty good. I really noticed the way she uses pronunciation very effectively. She uses a range of different pitch in order to signpost where she's going next with her ideas. It was very nice. In terms of fluency and coherence, she used absolutely no hesitation. She didn't seem to need to formulate her answers at all, actually. All of her vocab was situationally appropriate. Just a couple of very small glitches with grammar that I could find if I'm being really picky. I haven't met Ling after that. Maybe should have been. I haven't seen Ling since then. But overall, it was a great performance from Van Kang.
So thank you guys a lot for a very wonderful day, for a very wonderful conversation.
Yes.
I've had a lovely time in Hữu Lũng High School, and I want to thank you guys so much for taking the time and answering a few questions. And I've brought with me a few presents from VTV7 and the British Council that I want to give to you guys.
Yes.
So goodies!
Okay,
Here
thank
you go.
you.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Here you go. Here you
Thank
go.
you.
Thank you. Very nice. Thank you very much for your time. So I'm going to sign off now from IELTS on the go, but do not go anywhere because coming up is tips, 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 and tips. So keep it locked.
So Richard, what advice do you have with regard to the different listening mediums?
Okay, I think it can be very good advice for people to experience different formats in the kind of listening text that they expose themselves to. So we're talking not only about exam task listening texts, but also anything really, podcasts, movies, and so on. And also people should be listening for different accents, because these will appear in the exam as well. So I want to be listening to some British English, some American English, Australian, New Zealand, for example, in the different things that I listen to. I think it's also very good advice for people to give themselves concrete tasks for listening. I can watch a movie and that's great, but I need to work with the language by setting myself questions about what I'm listening to, perhaps inviting a friend to share those questions with me after I listen, and that will increase my engagement with the material.
That's fantastic. Thanks a lot for that advice. On the topic of parenting, on the topic of raising kids, allowing kids to really have strong roots, what kind of idioms can we use?
Well, the first one that comes to mind is, keep that noise down. Yeah, there's another one. What about putting down roots? Well, in my context, I could say that I was a young, carefree and single guy for quite a long time, but came to a point where I realized I had to put down roots. And so now I'm a more serious fella.
That's fantastic. Thanks so much, Richard, for coming. It's always a
you.
pleasure.
Thanks. It was great to be here. Thanks.
All right. And guys, of course, don't ever, ever, ever forget that every week we have book recommendations. And these are the books that might be useful to you when you're studying for the IELTS, or it can be books that are just super good books. So make sure you check out basically our book recommendation that's going to come to you right now.
Common grammatical and lexical errors based on analysis of thousands of IELTS exam scripts. This book has 30 common errors and 10 tests. One test after 3 common errors to test your understanding. Each common error is only 1 page with an explanation and short practice activities.
Wow. When I listen to raising kids and having babies, it kind of makes me a little bit nervous. I'm not gonna lie. But let's talk about putting down roots. I think my root is basically my Vietnamese identity and my Vietnamese tradition. I don't know what is your root? For me, it's definitely the older that I grow, the more Vietnamese culture and the greater appreciation I have for my parents and also for my Vietnamese heritage. And also for how hard we work when we do work and how far we've come. So that's just me. What do you guys think? Please share with us. Until next time. Ciao, ciao, ciao.